You can see the objectives on the screen for this video. At the end of this video, you will be able to explain features of HANA as database, explain analytics in HANA database, HANA development objects, explain HANA cloud solution, describe how HANA can be implemented. We say that HANA is a insert-only database. For example, you can see over here the data is there in 3 columns: ID, name, role, and you can see fourth column as valid from, and then the next column is valid to. So we say that it is an insert only database. That means when you do the update or delete operations in HANA, the original record is not modified. Instead of that, a valid from and valid to timestamp is added in the record, and then the latest record can be searched using the latest valid from and valid to timestamp. So this is how HANA operates, and this helps to find out the latest record quickly instead of actually deleting and changing the existing record. So this is how HANA works as insert only database. Compression techniques you have learned in previous video also. I hope you have gone through that video. For example, here you can see there is a sample taken from one bank. A case study was done wherein 1 month bank data was picked up, and when you store that data in any non-HANA database, it comes to 500 GB. If you store the same data in HANA database, it comes to just 100 GB. So you can see this in this graph, the difference between non-HANA database and HANA database. There is a huge memory space which is saved in case of HANA database because of compression techniques which are used. I hope you remember, you have already learned in previous videos that when you create tables as columnar table, then the system uses compression techniques at the backend and data gets compressed at the backend, and that is why you can see the memory footprint is reduced or very less compared to non-HANA databases. So this is one of the important feature of HANA as database. Here you can see the difference between any non-HANA database and HANA database. If you are using any non-HANA database and if you are using multiple different applications, then you have different systems. You need different systems for different purpose. Say for example, if you have ERP, then you will have a separate database. If you have CRM, then you need to have a separate database. If you have a BW system, you need a separate database, or any other custom application if you are using, you need a separate database. However, if you are using HANA, then you can plug in different applications on one single HANA database. So this is one difference. I hope you remember this. You have already learned in previous video also about this, that this is the major difference between any other database and HANA database, and as a result the business can save the cost by implementing only one single HANA database and using different applications on one single database. There is one more difference between HANA database and other databases is if you are using any other database, then you definitely need application server in between, which is a second layer in between. And in case of HANA platform, you can see it is inbuilt, application layer is inbuilt within HANA platform. So if you remember, you have also learned this, that with new architecture of S4HANA, HANA is not just a database, it is a platform which is a combination of database layer plus application layer, wherein you can see application function libraries and business function libraries which are built in within HANA platform. So these are the important differences between any other database and HANA database. So here you will learn different data provisioning techniques used in HANA. If you remember in one of the previous videos, you have learned one of the important feature of HANA, that you can get connected to any other database and replicate the data from any other database in HANA database. Obviously, for that, you need different data provisioning or replication techniques. These techniques can be used to replicate the data from any SAP or non-SAP system in HANA. These techniques can also be used for creating and preparing the data. So these tools or techniques are divided into two categories: HANA built-in tools and external tools. So in this diagram, you can see how it works. On left hand side, you can see data from external source. It can be from any source, SAP or non-SAP. It can be any database, or it can be in file format also. Then you use different provisioning tools. It may be HANA built-in tool or any external tools. The data gets replicated into HANA database. On top of that, you do the required analysis and then you display the output in front-end application. So here are some inbuilt tools. One is flat file, smart data streaming, smart data access, a set of tools which is called as enterprise information management, and remote data sync. For external tools, you have SLT, that is SAP Landscape Transformation, BODS, Direct Extractor, and Sybase Replication Server. Now you will see the details of each tool. So one of the internal tool is flat file. So you can upload the data from flat file. That means you can upload the data from Excel or CSV format. As of now, there is a restriction of 1 million records for a flat file at a time. If you have created headers for your data in Excel sheet, then those headers will be treated as column names in HANA. And by default, the system will create column store table in HANA database. The data types which you are using in Excel sheet, the same data types will be picked up in HANA database. However, you can change it later. The next tool is smart data streaming, which is majorly used for IoT based services, and it is also renamed as streaming analytics. It is used for filtering unwanted data, and it can store the required information as and when required. The next tool is smart data access. This can be used with different databases like Oracle, SQL Server, or Hadoop. And there are two steps in this tool. One is you have to first create a remote source, and then you'll have to create a virtual table for replicating the data. The next set of tools is called as EIM, that is Enterprise Information Management, which is a combination of two tools, Smart Data Integration and Smart Data Quality. So Smart Data Integration, that is SDI, is a ETL tool which is freely available in HANA. It has limited transformations compared to BODS, and it can be used for various business function libraries or predictive application libraries. The next tool is a SDQ, which is used for data cleansing majorly, and it can be used for removing the duplicate records and also to check the semantics. Next is remote data sync, which is used to move the data from cloud to cloud or cloud to on-premise in case of HANA, which is majorly used for IoT or mobility and satellite server. For external tools, one of the important tool is SLT, that is SAP Landscape Transformation. This is a real-time transformation tool, which is a trigger-based tool. The disadvantages are it requires a separate physical server, and it helps to replicate the data from SAP to SAP, and the transformations are not supported in SLT. The next tool is BODS, which is used for replicating the data from any source in HANA. It may be a file, it may be a database. It can also support complex transformations. However, the license cost is very high for BODS. Next one is DXC, which is also one of the extractor tool, but it is not used frequently. And one more here is Sybase Replication Server. If you remember, few years back, SAP has taken over Sybase company, and that company have their own replication server, which is now taken over by SAP. So that is a Sybase Replication Server. It's like an internal data transfer between Sybase to HANA, and it is a time efficient tool. It is also cost effective for backup devices. Now you will see different analytic tools in HANA database. One is BW on HANA, which is a composite, which includes composite providers, transient providers, or open ODS views, advanced DSOs, etc. In HANA, you can have different modeling views. You can use or you can create attribute view, analytic view, or calculation view. However, as you know, since SPS 11 onwards, attribute and analytic views are outdated. Now you can only go for calculation view. You can also do the analytics in HANA with before HANA. You can have data on the cloud. You can create AMDPs and CDS views. You can also have embedded analytics with HANA on especially on S4 HANA with BW and BO. You can also do SAP Analytics Cloud, that is you can do analytics on top of cloud using SAP Cloud Platform. So these are the different ways in which you can do analytics with HANA database. And then there are different HANA development objects. We call it as HANA native development objects. Under this you can create tables in HANA database. So you can directly get connected to HANA database, and there you can create your own custom tables either as a row store or as a column store table. So there are three ways how you can create your table. One is a file import. That means you can import your data from Excel sheet into your table. That is one way, and while importing that data you can create a table. You can also create a table using a wizard through UI. You can also write a SQL statement for that through SQL console. As a part of HANA development object, you can also create stored procedures or functions, triggers, sequences, synonyms, views, etc. You will learn details about these objects in HANA development topics. So here you can see different cloud applications that SAP has introduced. For infrastructure as a service, SAP has come up with HANA Enterprise Cloud. For platform as a service, SAP has introduced SAP Cloud Platform. The old name was HCP, that was HANA Cloud Platform. Now it is called as SCP. And you can use ABAP as a programming language on top of SAP Cloud Platform, which is called as ABAP Pass. For software as a service, SAP has introduced different applications like Concur, Fieldglass, SuccessFactors, Hybrids, C4C, etc. And for integration, SAP has again introduced different integration platforms. PIPO you already know, which is used for on-premise, and for cloud connecting, SAP has introduced CPI, that is Cloud Platform Integration. The old name of this product is HCI, that is HANA Cloud Integration, which is now CPI, Cloud Platform Integration. There are a couple of different ways in which you can implement HANA. One of the way is a sidecar approach, wherein if you are using currently any non-HANA database and if you have application server, then you purchase HANA database and you keep on replicating the data from non-HANA database to HANA database. That means you use HANA database as a secondary database, and whatever operations you are doing in non-HANA database or existing database, you keep on replicating it in HANA database using SLT, that is SAP Landscape Transformation. So you keep on replicating real-time data in HANA database, and you are using HANA database as a secondary database initially. Then you ask your basis team to start working on HANA database. Once they are comfortable with HANA database, then you ask other SAP consultants to start working on HANA database. Once your complete team of consultants is comfortable with HANA database, then you actually migrate from any other database to HANA database. So this approach is useful because SAP says that the way HANA database works is completely different than the way any other database works. So it is very important that your SAP team and your business should get comfortable with HANA way, and that is why SAP says that sidecar approach is very useful. That means in this case you are using HANA database as a sidecar. Once your team gets comfortable with HANA way, then you can completely migrate from any other database to HANA database. The second approach is a greenfield approach, in which if you are using currently any other non-database and you want to move to HANA database, then you directly move it from existing database to HANA database. You do not use HANA database as a secondary database or sidecar. You directly move from any other database to HANA database. This is an implementation project in which you will directly start using HANA database. So these are the two different approaches for implementing HANA database. So all the best. Please go ahead and utilize this knowledge in your projects.